Right. Okay. So this session is about the marketing mix. We're going to look at the different social channels with the marketing mix and obviously the different platforms and digital media in general. So the course content and the course intent is that during this session, you'll understand the marketing mix and how this is used in digital marketing. You'll be able to understand the benefits and limitations of push and pull marketing, two types of marketing, understand the different sources of digital information and how this is used to make decisions, understand the benefits and limitations of different types of digital media, and understand the different marketing channels and factors to consider when deciding which is appropriate. So, we've got a list of different types of marketing tasks, okay? And these are part of the marketing mix. Now, some of you may have heard of the marketing mix before, and some of you might not have. Okay, so I haven't explained it yet, but what I want you to do is just looking at product, price, place, and promotion, which are the different elements of the marketing mix and looking at that list, which one do you think these belong to? Okay, so a shop window display, which one does it belong to out of the four above? And the next one, and the next one. Okay, so go through the list and see if you can match it with one of the, um, whether it's product, price, place, or promotion. And I want you to use the chat of Zoom to basically put your answer. Okay. So basically, if the top one you think is promotion, then you put promotion dash a shop window display or something like that. Okay. So let's go to the chat, see what everybody's writing down. Okay. So it might be wrong, it might be right. Just think about it and just put something down, and then I'll explain which one is which. Makes sense. Does everybody know how to use the chat? Because there's only one person who's written something down at the moment. Okay, so it's basically got icons at the bottom of the screen on Zoom, and there's one that says chat. Just click on that, and the chat will come up on the right hand side. Okay, so we've got promotion, discount code, but not sure, I guess. Got question mark. A shop window display, place, a demo, video, promotion. Okay, so you've got various answers there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain which one's which, okay? So a shop window display, which one do you think that is? Let me ask Marina, which one do you think that one is?
Oh, so the shop window display I started to put is a place,
Okay,
but it's also the product actually because we can see the product itself.
okay. But what is the function of a shop window display?
Is to kind of attract the people into the shop and make them buy. So kind of it's promoting as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So it is promotion because you would put a product at the window to promote it, but it's also slightly product because it showcases the features of the product. Okay. So, for example, if it was a fashion store and you had different mannequins there with different outfits, one thing you'd promote it. You're promoting it because you're taking not all the products out to the shop window, just some of them. So you're promoting some of the outfits, but also the product itself is being showcased, right? So it's kind of promotion and slightly product as well, mainly promotion. So you would, if you're working in that store, you would put certain items on the shop window to promote to lure people in, right? So a product page on Amazon, Andrew, which one do you think that is?
I put down for that one product.
Product. Okay, why did you
Product,
put
product.
product?
Um, well, it's in the most logical to me, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you're right. So
Oh, right.
basic,
Okay. Good.
yeah, you're right. So a product page obviously is about the product, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
that's what the page is about. So it's just obvious. Um, a social media advert. Let's go for somebody down here. Cat. Okay. Why have you put down cat? Can you hear me, cat? Okay, let's go for somebody else. Laura.
I put down price.
Price. Yeah. Social media advert. Yeah.
Oh no, promotion for that one actually. Promotion.
You put promotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's a promotion. So when you're advertising, obviously you're promoting, right? So that's correct. Let's go for somebody else. Holly. What have you got for a discount code email to
Um,
customers?
that's what I put promotion for, but also price.
Okay. So this one's price, okay? Because your discount obviously is related to price, yeah, offers, incentives, but you're right as well. It's logical that, it can be promotion because obviously you discount something and it's a part of promotion. So I would say that's price slash promotion. Yeah. So that's good. And a product demo video. Let's see. Ben, what do you think that is? A product demo video. Any idea, Ben?
Promotion.
Yeah, so it's a product on promotion. So it's kind of product promotion. So you can see like these marketing mix items, they can be product and price, it can be place and price, it can be promotion price. So there's a mix there as well. But these things are very important to include in marketing. Okay. So if we go forward now to the next slide. So the marketing mix gives structure. Okay, so it helps businesses think about every element that's needed to attract the customer and deliver value. So in digital marketing, these four areas apply, but they basically look different because of technology and online behavior and automation. So in traditional marketing, if you think about how it was before the digital age, right? Product place, promotion price, it would have made a lot more like we were talking about shop window, right? So it makes sense. But when you're talking about online, it can be a bit confusing. It can change a little bit. Like, for example, your discounts, your shop window. Where is your shop window on a website? Obviously, it's the front page. So you have to understand how the marketing mix works with digital marketing. So the marketing mix is a framework, and it's used for business planning. Okay, so when you're doing the marketing strategy, you've got to think about these. So we're going to go into each one of them in depth now. So the first one, excuse me, first one, product. Okay, so product is actual goods or services offered to customers. In the digital world, this could be a digital product. So businesses can adjust its features, appearance, and packaging to gain a competitive edge. Now think about um, different brands. Okay, so Hugo Boss, they have their own logo, but their perfume, the box itself is not always exactly the same as the logo. It may say boss in a certain way. It may be kind of embossed, and then it's like in a different color to the actual logo. So they can tweak it a little bit when it comes to the products itself, when it comes to the packaging, the appearance, and that gives it a competitive edge, right? Making it look more luxurious, for example, right? So the features and benefits, the quality and design, the packaging, the branding, variations and versions, and how it meets the customer's needs. So during a season like Christmas, you might think of different colors to go for. Like it could be red, it could be more festive colors, and this is going to give them a competitive edge for those who are looking for Christmas presents, for example. So the product itself can be adjusted slightly for marketing purposes, okay? And you're looking at the features, the benefits, the quality, design, packaging, and various things. The other thing is price. The price is the amount of money the customers pay for the product. Obviously, we all know that. This is influenced by the product cost, how much it's going to cost to actually create the product, develop the product, and also competition. You got to think about competition, like how much am I selling it for? Like if I'm McDonald's, how much is Burger King selling their burgers for? You have to keep an eye on the price, right? The competition. If they're selling it for a lot cheaper, then how are they getting away with it? Where are they cutting costs somewhere else? And you got to think about the demand as well. So if the demand is high, right? If the demand is high, what can we do? We can increase the price and still people will buy. If the demand isn't that high, we probably have to do some offer or get people to buy, because the price is, if it's the same, and we're not playing with the price, then we're not using a pricing strategy. We have to think about different things. Like, for example, if you look at how companies work, like a lot of these services, they provide packages. Okay, so they'll have a free version, like Canva, for example. You have a free version of Canva where you can get an account, you can play around with the features, you can get used to it. You can even start creating projects. Some of the projects you can actually create without even having to pay. But when you start exploring the features and then looking at other things that it can do, it may restrict you on certain templates, for example. And that it's encouraging you to purchase and become a paid member. But that payment plan is a strategy. It's a pricing strategy, right? A free trial, 7 days free trial. It's a pricing strategy. Giving away something for free, pricing strategy. Um, Giving access to certain features that other like the payment plan could have certain bundles, for example, like giving products away, physical products away that they'll send to you. If you think about broadband and your telephone and your electricity bill, all of that can be bundled together. I think there's a utility warehouse, they bundle things together, don't they? And you just pay one amount, and it's like your gas, your electricity, your broadband, your mobile phone bill, all of that is packaged. So how do they manage that? It's a pricing strategy they do. They look at, if we have these customers from for their electricity, or also for their broadband, we can sell other products to them as well. And they'll look at that. Some customers they'll win, with some customers they won't. They won't make money from everybody, but it's a strategy they use to keep the customer for longer. Also, perceived value as well. So you got to think about the value that a product has in the eyes of people. Like if it's related to some trend, or if it's something that an influencer is talking about, the perceived value can be a lot higher than it actually is, right? So you have to be aware of the trend, the also what people are talking about. Is it something that you can sell right now for a higher price, or do you have to discount it? And discounting as well, obviously, TK Maxx, for example, if you think about it, a lot of big brands, brand names are sold there. Okay, so you can buy t-shirts, you can buy jackets, you can buy trousers, you can buy handbags, all for discounted price because they're last season's fashion, right? So that's another thing. Like, it's still getting exposure. The branded people are still wearing it. They might have bought it from TK Maxx for a discounted price because it's out of season. But when they're walking around, they're carrying the brand. Okay, so it's all good. Okay, so promotions, discounts, it comes in different ways with pricing. And as marketers, it's something we can also include in our marketing strategy. Okay, we can look at pricing, can look at design, we can look at the product design. We've got somebody putting their hand up, Nico.
Hi there, Bilal. I just wanted to
Hiya.
double check the pricing strategy just to make
Yeah.
sure I understand in terms of building a campaign if you're talking about pricing strategy. So you
Yeah.
mentioned offering trials would be part of a pricing strategy, offering a limited access to software and also freebies. Is that
Yeah.
it? Just those three things that you can put under ideas for pricing strategy in a campaign?
Not just those three. There's obviously so many things that you can do, but it'll depend on what the product is and what you're selling. So, for example, if you were selling a course online, then you can give free value in the form of like a webinar, like it's for free, right? Access. If it was a physical product, it could be like a perfume tester. Okay, it's still somebody's not buying it, but they're testing, right? So the price, when it comes to price, yes, it's not related to the price itself, but it's a tester, right? But the thing is, with the price, when you're trying to get, how you got to think of it is like you're trying to get a person to buy something for a certain price, right? Now you have to think about all the things you would do as a marketer to get them to buy. So you would talk about the timing of it. You talk about the experience of them purchasing it. How would it make them feel? But when it comes to the pricing, you have to almost convince the person that, paying for that is going to improve their life in some way. And so that kind of marketing could come from a salesperson talking to them directly, right? So it's about convincing. The pricing strategy could be a free trial, okay? It could be payment plans, it could be perceived value. Now that perceived value comes from a salesperson being able to kind of promote it through word of mouth, right? By being there. The discounts promotions, obviously, as well. So there's various things, and we will look at various ways price works. But it's not just those things. It's not just the free trial and everything. It all depends on the type of product you're selling. Okay. So it may change slightly. So I'll give you examples of it as we go along. I don't want to just stay in this position because we've got lots of different slides to cover, but the price will come into it again and again. Okay, so we'll cover your. I understand your question, but when we cover other areas, you'll see that the price is connected to it. Okay, I'll explain later. All right, so if we go to the next one, which is place. Okay, so the distribution strategy, or where and how the product is made available. Okay, so think about the product itself. Is created in a location. Okay, it could be coffee, for example, and the coffee is produced in Sri Lanka or Brazil, and that place has its own value. Okay, people understand that, the history of that location and the relationship with the product. Okay, so places where and how the product is made available to customers. Now, that place is where it's produced, but it's sold in a different location. Okay. So if it's sold in the UK, that coffee, now you got to think about the place within the shop. Okay. So physical place within the shop could be a shop window. It could be higher up in the shelf, okay, where everybody can see it. Online, it could be on the front page, but place, it really is about putting it in front of a customer, okay? Placing it in such a location where it catches attention. That's what it's about. But when it comes to other things, like, for example, it's basically supply chain as well. So it includes that supply chain. So if we read this, um, this is about distribution and accessibility. So the distribution part is the supply chain, where you're getting it from, and the whole journey of how it got to the location where the customer is seeing it. Accessibility is how the person is actually going to access it. Can they touch it? Can they test it? Where is it placed? Is it behind the counter where the customer has to ask the person to give it to them, because it could be a pack of cigarettes, it could be alcohol, where are you placing it, and what is the strategy behind placing it in that location? So there's various things that have to be covered when it comes to place, and this is a part of marketing as well. Because if you think about it, that shop could have a specific display of items on, like catches the people's attention straight away, like when they walk through the door. It could be a lounge area where they're sitting down at an airport and you've got a display right next to them. It could be drinks where they may be thirsty. They've just walked a few, you know, like terminals, and they've come and sat down and they're really tired and they want a drink. So the place, the place where the products are situated is important. So a physical store, online shop, or both, delivery and logistics, stock availability and location strategy. All of these matter. When it comes to stock availability, again, it's still place. It's about how do you get that item to the person? So, you, for example, with Amazon, they have the same product, but locally somewhere they've got it stored so they can deliver quickly. So it's still about distribution. It's still about placing the item for fast delivery. So it's a bit confusing because it's like it includes a few things here: distribution, logistics, stock availability, location strategy. So you have to think about everything and you've got to think about physical and digital as well. So again, it's not going to make sense straight away, but as we go into the subjects of marketing a digital product, for example, we will talk about placing it somewhere on the website. Then, if we're doing an ad, we'll be thinking about where do we put the product on the actual ad. If we're thinking about like a physical shop, then we've got to think about where do we put it on the shelf. If we're thinking about where the product, how the product gets to the customer, then we've got to think about logistics as well. Okay, because delivery, when you're talking about marketing, Amazon has an advantage of fast delivery. There are companies like that don't have that advantage because they're delivering from China. There's like 20 days, 30 days, and it could be your Shopify site, and you're struggling to compete with Amazon because of that. So, place covers a few things. It's not just about how to advertise a physical product. It's about digital. It's about logistics as well. Promotion is the communication activities used to make customers aware of the product. So this is more kind of, it makes sense, like with social media marketing, advertising, online or offline, email campaigns, things that we've heard of before, influencer partnerships, in-store promotions. So we all understand promotion. It's quite simple to understand. It's just about promoting, and it could be online and it could be offline. And we've seen many examples of how to promote on social media. Advertising, it could be, when you're talking about offline, it could be a billboard, it could be a newspaper, it could be leaflets. When it's online, obviously, you've seen ads on YouTube and so on. Email campaigns we've talked about before, where there's a series of emails that are automated. Influencer partnerships, where a person who has a large following basically partner with them, collaborate with them. And then in-store promotions, if it's physical, obviously promotion, it's connected to discounts and everything else. The only thing that we need to wrap our head around is the main one is the place. Okay, this one. And also price. Okay, this one. Okay, so these two will leave how I've said it, how I've explained it now, but I will come back to it with examples, so to clarify it even more. So how digital has changed the marketing mix, okay? Because the digital world operates globally and it's around the clock, it literally doesn't sleep 24/7. No matter where they are, they can shop, okay? Obviously, internet problems in some locations, but in general, people can shop online 24/7. If there's a problem with the website and stuff like this, there are things that could go wrong, but in general, we assume that if it's digital, if it's online, then we have this kind of, we should be able to go to Amazon at any point of the day, night and just make a purchase. Okay. So there are far more customers that basically shop online now. So it's basically websites, mobile phones, social media channels. There's lots of avenues where they can actually shop. So the digital marketing landscape has changed. It's transformed, and the mix that we were talking about, the four Ps, they have changed as well slightly. Okay. So digital expectations have increased significantly. The customers now anticipate real-time communication and instant access to information. They also expect businesses to use data to personalize their experiences and automate services in a way they feel smooth and seamless. So digital products and online services, they've become the norm now. And the customer expectations are very high. So we have to think about how customers are expecting fast delivery, how customers are expecting products to be promoted with discounts, and we almost like expect offers and discounts on certain sites as well, and we look for them. Okay, so people are visually attracted to certain things, free trials, discounted prices, product placement in the right location, digital placement is important. And on the front page of Amazon, you have, like, for example, popular items, the best, like Amazon recommended items, okay, Amazon choice, that kind of thing attracts now. And because people are used to it and people are looking for reviews, for example. So they're more educated about how to shop online, and these are the things people look for. Products that got lots of reviews, products that are on the front page. um, it just it's just like a shop window basically. The price matters. If you go to Amazon, you'll have different products. Sorry, you'll have the same product but different prices, okay, from different sellers. But also you'll have used items, brand new items as well. So there's a whole range where shoppers can either go for a used item, a new item. They can shop around and see the same product but different prices, also from different locations. Okay, so that kind of fits in with the place where it's coming from, the logistics side of things. If I'm purchasing something which is £5 cheaper, but it's actually they're not based in the UK, they're based elsewhere, then I might start thinking, well, the quality might not be good, or they have to ship it, it may delay. So I'd rather pay that £5 extra. So all of this you have to think about as a marketer or as a business, that where do you keep your product, how are you selling your product, what price you place your product, and where does your product sit on that platform. So this is basically the marketing mix. So in digital marketing, the four Ps still apply, but they often look very different because of technology and online behavior. So why does these four Ps matter online? Although digital marketing adds new tools and technologies, the marketing mix still provides a strong foundation of planning and decision making. So these are the reasons. Ensures all areas of marketing work together, helps create a clear, consistent brand experience, provides structure for analyzing digital strategies, and supports customer-centric planning and helps businesses stay competitive online. Okay, so if we go back now, because we've covered the four Ps, so let's go back. So these are the four Ps: product, place, promotion, and price. Okay, if we think of it physically, like a physical product in a physical shop, it's easy to understand because your product, okay, could be, like, if we go to the product one, it could be that you're changing the branding, like, not the branding, but the packaging. You're adding more benefits to it. Okay, we're talking about a physical product. You could add, like another product that you get if you buy this one, you get another one for free. Okay, buy one get one free. That is still, a strategy. Okay, because you're selling one product, you're giving another one for 50% discount or for free. That is a strategy, and it fits into features and benefits. Okay, benefits basically. Quality and design. The design, you might change the design of the bottle if it's perfume. Okay, you might change the packaging. And that is about the perception. Okay, the quality, the design, it changes, it looks more expensive, and that kind of relates to the price. The packaging and branding, obviously, it may make people feel a certain way. We were talking about Costa yesterday, so people drink Costa coffee. Now, if it's corporate, an individual that's corporate, they may feel, having a meeting, a business meeting, sitting there with a Costa coffee or a Starbucks coffee branded, looks good on them. A part of their appearance is still the coffee cup kind of goes with their appearance. If they now had a coffee cup that said Subway on it, it may not go with their appearance. It sounds funny, but you can ask them and talk to people and see why wouldn't they drink a Subway coffee during a business meeting. Some people will, some people won't. But it's interesting to get that conversation going and understand this psychology behind it. And it's branding because it's not the actual customer that's thinking about it. Like they're not actually thinking about it, it's subconsciously there. And that is about marketing and how Costa's marketing and how Starbucks is marketing their product and their target audience or their target customers. Okay. So it's all about branding. And then that kind of mindset, they attract that type of people who believe that that coffee suits the business meeting. If we're going to have a coffee, let's go to Starbucks. Let's go to Subway. Does that work? Which one works better? Starbucks. Okay. Corporate mindset is you can analyze, and then there's other people who wouldn't go to McDonald's. There's some people who would go McDonald's, but again, it's about branding. It's not about the customer, but it's the branding, how the branding happened to make the customer feel in a certain way. So all of this is about product. You can have a luxury product created by a certain brand, but they would have to work harder on the product itself if they weren't in that industry in the first place, like if they stepped into it suddenly. So product placement and how they make people feel about the product, it is a part of the whole marketing strategy. And you'll see products change now and then. Look at Apple, look at the mobile phone. It keeps the same kind of design, but it tweaks it every time, right? So better camera, better high resolution camera features are different. So the features and benefits are different of a product. The quality and design is the same. The packaging and branding is usually the same. Variations of versions are there. And they also don't basically they do updates every time. So you have to buy a new phone. You can't basically use the same phone if you're on Apple, right? They have to keep on updating your phone now and then. And then it's a lifestyle as well. Like once you buy an Apple phone, you will stick to it for a long time. Okay. Same with Android. It becomes a community of people who believe in that in the same way I compared Starbucks and Subway, right? So product marketing, there's a lot that goes into that. And then the pricing as well. If you look at McDonald's, Burger King, they will compete with the pricing. They have a pricing strategy. If you look at broadband services, they'll have payment plans. Certain companies will have bundles. So this is all about price. So all these marketing mix items that we're talking about, promotion, we have to think about these during digital marketing. Okay. And sometimes we forget to include them. So when you're thinking about, say, a campaign, you're doing a social media campaign, how you're gonna post, which platform you're gonna post. You're not really thinking about the price. You're not thinking about the product itself. You're just thinking about how we're gonna do the marketing. But it's important to think about the 4 Ps while you're doing the campaign because it goes hand in hand. Okay, so it will be clearer to you when you start thinking about the campaign and you now understand the 4 Ps. you'll suddenly think, okay, I need to think about the price. Where am I going to put the price? Shall I slash it, put $100 and then slash it and then put $99, like $50, right? So it shows that I've discounted it. How big do I make the price on the actual promotion? What color should it be? Okay, then you're going into color theory. Okay, should it be green? Should it be red? What kind of what kind of emotions am I trying to give to the customer? So that you're thinking about the price and your pricing strategy a part of your marketing campaign. With your promotion as well, there's certain things that you'll do. Mainly when you're marketing through a campaign, it's the promotion that you're thinking about. Okay. So this P, you don't usually miss out. Okay. This P is usually very clear because you're doing an email campaign and you're trying to promote. It's the price and the place. These two you really need to think about because it can easily be missed. So, like on a website, you could put the product in the wrong place. The advert, if you're doing a product placement with an influencer, where are you going to put the product in the scene? Okay. Should it be in the distance? Should it be in front of them? And that's what you got to think about. Okay. And it's usually when you're doing a campaign, you can easily miss it. So I just wanted to spend about 5 minutes on Google trying to find information about these 4Ps, okay? Learn something, okay, that you're kind of interested in knowing about. So choose, like, for example, the 4Ps, go onto Google, type in 4Ps in marketing. Okay, so or marketing mix is another thing that you can type in, right? So you can type in marketing mix and there'll be examples that will come up, there'll be explanations of it. Try to understand what the 4Ps are in the digital landscape. Okay. You may get the 4Ps in the physical, but try to understand the digital. So I've explained it, but I want you to do a bit of research for 5 minutes just to see what's out there. You might watch a video, a short video on YouTube. You might look at some infographics on Google Images. So whatever you find, I want you to put it into the chat and then we're going to discuss about it. Okay. So 5 minutes to do a little bit of research. So I've just given an example of what I want you to do. So for example, I uploaded an infographic I went to Google Images, found an infographic that looks pretty easy to understand, explains it pretty well, and I've just put it in there. Okay, so I want you to do the same. So we have lots of resources from each individuals, and we're sharing to each other what we find, and then when we have a few things, we can download it and keep it and also make use of it. Okay. Why are you getting that message? Let me see. Yeah, it's just an image. It's the format. Okay. Let me don't worry. I'll get a different format of that done for you, and then you can download it. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, this one should be fine. I'll just give it to you. It's fine. I mean, you can download it. It's just if the error message or the warning scares you, then I'll send another one. This one should be all right. So why it's just an example. I'm not giving it so that you can download it and that's it. Basically, share what you find in the chat so that others can do the same. Okay, so others can download and get resources. So what we're doing is now we're looking at all the resources that, for example, Ben's found some information on. I think it's on GitHub. There's also Tyra found a video on YouTube. So there's lots of resources about the marketing mix. Okay. So what I want you to do now, okay, once you've posted, I want you to spend another let's say about 10 minutes, okay, looking at all these resources that have been posted. I want you to go through them. You might not be able to go through all of it, but choose a few and just go through it and just try to understand it a little bit more. And then what I'll do is I'll get a couple of you to explain what you've understood by the marketing mix in general, right? So it's all about research, understanding, and these sessions, if you're not actually using the resources online, you're not going to learn everything that you need to learn. Okay, so you have to take advantage of YouTube, you have to take advantage of articles, TikTok resources, anything, infographics, it's all important stuff. Okay, so the session, although I'm covering using a presentation, what I do want you to get in the habit of is doing your own research at the same time. Even if it's during the session and you basically opened another window, found something that you put on the side to do research later on. But in this way, this kind of task that we're doing is helping everyone, okay? So we're all kind of helping each other. So for the next 5 to 10 minutes, so it's 10:14, let's say till 10:20, okay? I just want you to start reading some of these articles or watching a video, having a look at the infographic, all from the chat. Okay, so we've all worked together to get these resources. Let's look at what we've gathered, and then put comments into the chat about what you've learned. Okay. Right. Okay, so we've got lots of information in the chat now. Just make sure you take advantage of all this hard work that everyone's doing. Okay, so lots of information. anything that you find useful to save, do save it. You can bookmark it, you can download it. There's some infographics in there. I've posted a document just kind of focusing on digital marketing, and that explains it like simply like which P's relate to which parts of the digital marketing process. So, for example, product, it's about user experience, personalization, digital add-ons, customer reviews. Price is about dynamic pricing, freemium models, subscriptions, price anchoring, basically displaying the original versus the discounted price, automated discounts, promo codes, abandoned cart offers, when they pop up suddenly, like when you're kind of trying to click away from it, and then place distribution. So when it comes to distribution, it's about the website itself, okay, where you're, purchasing, so e-commerce sites. It's basically about how the customer accesses the product. The marketplaces like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, this is all about distribution. So you're placing your product could be placed on Amazon, it could be on eBay, it could be on Etsy as well. You're trying to get it to in front of as many customers as possible, basically. Leah, you got your hand up?
It's Lee, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't mind. I was just going to say that place is not just about getting it to the customer, but it's also about how that distribution affects how your customers view your product. So if you sell
Yeah.
your product in the pound shop, they're not going
Mhm.
to view it as a luxury item.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to choose. And I mean, I know from Facebook that everything on there just seems to be a scam. If you were
Mhm.
wanting to sell something high end, you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't choose Facebook for it because people might not see it as a
Reputation.
luxury thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, definitely. So it's about where you place the product, right? So the location is important. So place includes that as well. Like also, there's so many different ways of thinking about it. For example, if you place a product in a shopping mall, does that increase the price? Of course it does, because they have to pay a lot of money for the actual, the rent, for example, the location, right? But it's all about it's about convenience as well. So, and it's the type of people that would go there to shop. So, if you're in a high end part of, say, Blue Water in London, there's one part of Blue Water that's like high end, like Rolex, for example, is there. So your expectation is that it's going to be pricey, but it's going to be high quality. It's going to be luxury. So it's about if you now have your own brand and you get that location next to other brands that are luxury, then you're positioning your own brand next to luxury items to become like luxury in association, basically. So that exactly what you're saying, Lee. It's about distribution, but it's also about place, and that is a physical product in a physical location, but also digital, like you said. You wouldn't put it on Facebook because of reputation of Facebook with different products. Because of Facebook ads, you get all sorts. There's no filter, and literally, you would get all sorts of products there. Well done. Yeah, so website, e-commerce, marketplaces, mobile apps. You can have items on mobile apps, advertise on apps but like again, there's certain products will work well with that, certain products won't. A digital product like a game may work, but something else may not. Social commerce, Instagram shop, TikTok shop. Again, it's about putting your product in front of people. Digital delivery, streaming, downloads, cloud access. With physical products, obviously, it's slightly different about the delivery, which I explained earlier. But with digital delivery, it's about streaming, downloads, cloud access. Okay. I think it's easier to think about digital products when it comes to digital marketing, and when you're thinking about physical product, we start to think about like delivery and other things slightly differently. But it's important to realize that your digital marketing could be for physical products as well. But start by thinking about the digital products first, and then relate it to physical products to understand it better. It works for me, but I don't know, you might think of it differently. And promotions, where you're thinking about SEO, obviously, search engine optimization, that is important, but also social media marketing, email marketing, content marketing, all of that is about promotion, and we've been covering a lot of this recently. Okay, so I think everyone's got a good idea of what the 4Ps are and why they're important. So let's go back to the slide. Okay, so marketing mix. And if I just click on that one, right. So the next section is push and pull marketing. Who knows what push and pull marketing is? You can put your hand up. Anybody? Any idea? No one?
No, sorry.
Nope. Okay. Okay, so push marketing, okay? Push marketing is a promotional strategy where business actively pushes the product or service in front of customers. Okay, so instead of waiting for people to find the brand themselves, the business takes the initiative to place the message directly in front of them. This approach is often outbound and focuses on gaining immediate visibility, quick sales, and brand awareness. So if you think about it, it could be interruption based marketing where the customer is doing something like scrolling and watching a video and suddenly a pop-up appears. You kind of it's almost like it's like a pushy marketing, right? You're pushing it in front of them, being a bit pushy, being it's like hard sell, right? You're placing it in front of them as an interruption. It's not often it doesn't often get the positive feedback from customers because it's interrupting, but businesses still do that, right? It could be like a pop-up ad or something. Okay. Less and less businesses do it now because obviously pull marketing is better, but it takes longer. But push marketing is like putting it in front of them almost like forcefully. So it's like getting the message out there. Now there's lots of examples. So if I go to the next slide. Okay, so paid social media ads, they're pushed in front of users, feeds on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Sponsored post carousel ads, video ads, story ads. Adverts are basically forced because you're watching Amazon a movie on Amazon Prime. If you haven't paid to get rid of the ads, suddenly um, they'll just start an ad, all right, and you'll have to watch that for 2 minutes, okay, and it's pushed in front of you, isn't it? So that's a push technique. Display ads, banners on websites. So in the 90s, you could see a lot of that, like all these banners and pop-ups and all this. And this is basically push techniques. So paid social media, paid display ads and banners, pay-per-click, retargeting, remarketing, email marketing, SMS, in-app notifications. So on your phone, it suddenly kind of pops up as a notification. You suddenly get an SMS. You suddenly get an email. This is pushing it to you, right? It'll make more sense as we go to pull marketing. Then you'll understand the differences. So when is push marketing useful? So when I know it can have like a negative feel to it, like, okay, it's like you're kind of pushing it in front of customers. People might not like that, but it still works. Okay. So launching a new product or service, you have to get people's attention. You might put it in front of them. If your product is good, it's decent, it is useful, it's giving value, and you're targeting the right audience, even if you're doing push marketing, it's not going to feel that bad. Okay. It's not going to be received in a negative way because what you have to understand is your push marketing is going hand in hand with your target marketing. So you're targeting your right audience. You're putting it on the platform that they would be, watching content. Okay. So you're placing the ad in the right place and the ad is relevant to your customer, which makes sense. Like if I was watching a movie and on Amazon Prime, and earlier on I was browsing the internet and I went to GoDaddy because I was looking at domain hosting, and there's cookies placed on my computer, and somehow Amazon picks up that I was browsing on GoDaddy. I might get a GoDaddy ad when I'm watching the movie, right? So it's targeting me through cookies. So as long as the right target audience is there, the product is relevant, it's not going to feel like it's spam or um, it's unnecessary marketing. So launching a new product or service, push marketing is used. Um, Generating quick awareness, reaching a broad audience, boosting short-term sales, and promoting time-limited offers like Black Friday, because you're limited with time. You can't do a full campaign, plan things. You have to. You've got a short window where you have to make the sale. Okay, if it's Black Friday or um, a limited offer or something like that, you just want to get as many people as possible in a short period of time. Now, not everybody's going to receive it and buy it. But if you've got enough people, you're literally spending money on a large number of people for a short period of time. So even your marketing budget is not you're not spending a lot of money. You're focused on like, I'm going to do it for this weekend. I'm going to spend X amount of money and that's it. Okay. So you're spending like 5 grand for 2 days, but you're getting out to as many people as possible that is in your target market. Okay, so that's the idea of push marketing. It's like urgency. Get it in front of people. If they're gonna buy, they're gonna buy. If they don't, they don't. But you need to get it in front of people. Can't wait for them to come and find us. Okay, so the benefits of it is fast visibility, helpful for new businesses because new businesses don't have time to kind of go through a process. They need customers quick. Um, Great for promotions and offers, can reach a large audience quickly, easy to scale with paid ads. Okay. If you're not paying, then it's not going to work. Okay. So there has to be a budget there because it's not organic. So fast visibility, push marketing basically gets your message in front of people immediately. Instead of waiting for customers to search for you, for your advert to appear, like for example on, like through Instagram or something, you're gonna have to base it on organic reach. It doesn't work like that. It has to be kind of forced in a way. There are some limitations. Okay, can feel intrusive, like we talked about. It can be annoying. You might delete it, get rid of it, get annoyed with that company. So that's a bit of a limitation. Customers may ignore or block the ad. Okay, but still it's going to be done because not everybody's going to block it. It still works. Okay, there will be a big percentage that will block, but there will also be sales. So it can be more expensive, especially with paid ads. Doesn't always build long-term loyalty because you're not looking at building a relationship. You're just getting those buys of people who actually want to buy it. You're getting those buys. You're not building that relationship, so there's no loyalty. Not as targeted as pull strategies. Now, yes, you are targeting, but you're not doing the way you would have done it with pull strategies, because with pull strategies you can look into your target audience in a more deeper way because you're building that relationship with them. Okay, so now if you compare it with pull marketing, which is what we're kind of used to in the social media space, pull marketing is a strategy where you're attracting customers towards your business by creating content, value, and experiences that make them seek you out. Okay, so you're not in their face kind of with a product. You're building a long-term relationship, right? You're basically creating content on Medium, you're creating content on YouTube and having links there, kind of creating a way for them to kind of find your product. Okay, not straight away in their face, but they will find you. So instead of pushing your message onto people, you're creating interest so they pull themselves towards your brand. Okay, so the key features of pull marketing is value driven, focuses on helping people, relevant content, inbound approach. Customers decide to engage. It builds trust and loyalty and long-term results. It works well for targeted audiences. So if you think about push marketing, although it's slightly targeted, it's not like, it doesn't have to be your it could be just like everybody. Okay, you just basically putting it out there to everybody in the UK, for example, or everyone in the US, because you know that people in the US buy this product, but you're not going deep into target marketing. You're not kind of focusing on who the target audience is. You just literally give it, and it's cheaper in that way because you're doing it for a couple of days or a very short period of time, and you're just putting it out to everyone. With pull marketing, very targeted. You know exactly who your audience is. You care for your audience. Yes, you do want sales, but you don't mind it coming slowly because you want to build that long-term connection and you want loyalty. So the techniques are SEO, okay, because you want to improve your website, your content on so that people can find you in the first place. Your blog post will have the optimized words in there. Your if it's content for mobile, it would be basically mobile friendly. Um, Q&As, helpful answer based content, basically. So content marketing, creating content that is educational, blogs, articles, guides, how to infographics, that kind of stuff. Organic social media, okay? So again, creating helpful content, entertainment, content that is naturally kind of going to get people to engage, reels, behind the scene posts, tips and advice stories, user generated content, video content. Again, it's important to think about educational videos, demonstration, storytelling. For example, how to groom a dog at home, how our bakery makes its famous cupcakes, that kind of stuff. So this is giving people value, giving people information they need, entertainment, building relationships, and then slowly they start understanding your business and your product and what you do, and then they consider buying, and then they basically go through that sales funnel. Okay, so pull marketing, push marketing, both of them are used, but I personally I personally use pull marketing. Okay. There's companies that would focus just on push marketing. But if you're doing ads, most likely you would do push marketing, but you can also do pull marketing with ads, obviously, because you can have, like, for example, Facebook, it allows you to really target the audience through the demographics. Okay. So when is pull marketing useful? So pull marketing is useful to build trust, to attract customers who are already searching, improve organic visibility, grow long-term relationships, and educate the customers, reduce marketing costs over time. The benefits are that lower long-term costs, builds a strong relationship, customers feel in control, attracts customers who are already motivated, and supports brand reputation and loyalty. There are some limitations, however. Okay. Obviously, it takes longer because if you're creating content daily, then it's good. If you're creating content once a week, it's going to take obviously a lot longer. But regardless of how many times you're creating content, you have to have patience to build that community, and then not everybody from that community is going to buy. So for the buys to come in, it may take weeks, it may take months, but it will happen, but it does take longer. So you have to keep on at it until you get results. It requires ongoing content creation, and that can be costly, time consuming. You have to have the right equipment and everything else. So it can be harder for brand new businesses because they may not know how to do things as well. So they're learning at the same time they're creating content, spending money, it can be a struggle for them. So there are some limitations there for brand new businesses. So that's why they would probably do push marketing and just get their exposure, rather than depending on like their content on social media, for example, because they may not have an account with lots of videos on, right? So they don't have the followers. So they would have to get, the ads out there to everybody. Requires understanding of customer needs. Obviously, you need to do your research and everything else. So if you don't do that, that is also a limitation. Doesn't give instant results. Okay, so it's going to happen over time. So it doesn't work for some companies. They would do push marketing first, and then slowly they'll get into pull marketing. Okay, so got a task for you. So read each scenario below. Okay, so you've got the different scenarios. Decide whether it's push or pull marketing. Write one sentence explaining your choice. Be ready to share your answer with the group. So what I want you to do is basically in the chat, read the scenarios and then put something like one and then push or pull, two, push or pull, three, push or pull, and like this, do all eight. Okay. So basically, go through them, see which one push or pull. You can also discuss it in the chat. So I want you to have a discussion in the chat as well. So if we start with one, for example, and you're not sure, you're talking about it, a bakery that runs Facebook ads promoting a weekend cake sale. You think, okay, that's definitely a push because it's over the weekend, very short period of time, and they're doing a Facebook ad which they're paying for, and there's no connection, long-term connections. That's a push. So you put push. If you're not sure about number two, then you can have a discussion. Okay, so we'll do that for the next 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is enough. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, it's quite easy, isn't it, this one? Okay, Andrew, so you've written down push for the first one. Can you explain why you put push for the first one?
I'll mute myself. Well, that's a paid ad. It's not particularly targeted to anyone in particular. So I think that's a push scenario.
Yeah. Okay, and the next one, you put pull. Can you explain why you put pull on the second one?
Because that's more of where a customer will find you more organically through your techniques for SEO, etc., etc. So they find you through your search engines.
Okay, good. And number three was push. Okay, so why is that a push?
again, that's a simple advert that's sort of pushed out. Pushed out to people.
Good. Okay, let's find somebody else. Elizabeth, you put number 7 as push. Okay, so why is number 7 a push?
Dropping leaflets through doors because it's not something that our customers sort of found naturally. You're sort of pushing leaflets through.
Yeah, some may throw it away, some may keep it. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Holly, number 4 is pull. Why is it a pull?
Because it's not advertised, it's someone looking at a how-to video and then going, oh, I'll check their website out as well.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So it's obviously creating value, right? And slowly that person will find a product. It could be a course or something like that, right? Brilliant. Let's see who else we got. Maria, number 5 is push. So why is it a push?
Because the advert is shown to people while they browse the site. So the brand is pushing visibility.
Yeah, it's kind of interrupting as a banner ad, isn't it? It's there like they went on the website for something, but there's an advert for something else, and it's like a business is paying for that, but it could be short term, and it's going to be on everybody's site, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's see if we can get one more person. Jeanette, number 8 is a pull. Why is it a pull?
They've looked for reviews. If you're looking for reviews, you've gone there. You haven't been pushed into looking for it. And then off of the back of the opinions of others, you've gone and found the company.
Yeah. So the customer feels they're in control, right? Because the customer's visiting and reading positive online reviews and then making that decision to go. So it's a journey, right? So it's not kind of pushed in front of them. That's good. Okay, so we've got a good understanding of push and pull marketing now. So that's great. Let me go back to the presentation. And let me close down the chat. Right. So the next section is what is digital information. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a break. Okay. So have a 10-minute break and then we'll get into the next part of the session. Okay. So have a break till 11 o'clock and then we'll continue. Lee, you still got your hand up. Have you got a new question or is that from previous? Okay.
Got it. Sorry. It was from the last one.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, thumbs up if you're back. Okay. Right, let's continue then. So just close this down. Right, so what is digital information? Let's see, who can I ask? Jeanette, can you tell me what digital information is? Any idea? Okay, that's good.
In terms of
okay. Carry on, sorry.
In terms of the 4 Ps.
Just in general, like if you see the word digital information, what comes to mind?
I don't know. I'm drawing blank right now.
So let's go to Claudia. What comes to mind when you hear digital information, when you see the words digital and information? You can break it down in that way if you like. You're on mute. I don't know if you know.
I know.
Okay. You're thinking.
Yeah.
I think we're overcomplicating it. Let's go to Ben. Go on, Ben.
So just anything that's created or written online would be digital.
Yeah. Okay. Can you expand on that? You're on the right track.
Stored, processed, transmitted using electronic or computer-based technology.
Okay. Did you Google it?
It's a ChatGPT.
Okay, ChatGPT. All right. Okay. Right. Let's have a look then. Okay. So to understand digital information, we got to look at various sources of information, which is basic. We know we're looking at digital, so we're looking at online, right? And information, what does information mean? Basically, it's data. Okay. So the data can come in different forms. And for a business, data is very valuable. Data is gold, basically. It's the digital oil. And people, I guess there was a time in the past, okay, I can't remember when it was exactly, probably year 2000, 2001, when I was filling in a form and I was putting my details in. I was thinking, hang on a minute, I'm not going to put my real details in because I don't want my information to be on the internet. How did that go? Well, we've all got information on the internet now, haven't we? We had to kind of surrender to the online world now. Our information is held on servers all over the planet. We really don't have any control over where our information is because we've been filling in so many forms, so many different things that we've done online. Our digital footprint is everywhere, and that's normal. Okay, it's normal for us, especially for us who kind of live through that through those decades. For our children, we have to protect them. Okay, we have to think about their digital footprint, explain to them, look, facial recognition right now, doing this, you avoid it. Fingerprint, technology is there. Don't do this, don't do that. Why? Because they are creating their digital footprint, and one day that's going to be either I shouldn't have done this or I should have done this. Why did my parents tell me, etc. Right? So it's important to have some control over your digital footprint, but as marketers, as a business, you rely on that. Okay. So again, it comes to ethics, morals, and everything like that. But what we're talking about is from a digital marketing perspective, we want customers to fill in forms. We want them to interact, engage, give their personal information, but we have our responsibilities like GDPR, for example, where we need to keep that secure and so on. Okay, so there's that part of it, understanding that data flows from person to person, from business to business, from person to business. But how is that data used? And we do give consent as users, we do give consent and we willingly give a lot of information. Sometimes when paid ads come along, we still interact. When it's user generated content, we're willingly giving content, information, and so on. So there's two ways of thinking of it. One is as the user, and one is as the business. So because we're studying digital marketing, it's good to understand from the user's perspective. Okay, we've all been there, but also from the marketer's perspective. Okay. So organizations have access to huge amounts of user-generated content, data. Okay, just 1 second. Somebody's asking to start the AI companion. Okay. I'm gonna deny that for now, okay? Just because I don't know where it goes. So there's a tool on Zoom that's an AI companion, and it'll basically provide the whole transcript, but I don't know where that goes, right? It doesn't come to me. It goes to the organization, basically. So I wouldn't have access to that right now. But I'll look into it, and if I do have access to it, I will, let you add that feature. Okay, so let's go back again. Right, so there's different sources of information, okay? And these include customer reviews, okay? Social media interactions, engagement, social listening, basically following online conversations, website analytics, competitor and comparison websites, email analytics, and online sales and e-commerce data. So these are some of the sources where we get digital information from. It's not limited to this list. Obviously, there's other sources as well. But what we're going to do is look at each of these to understand where the data comes from. As a business, when I'm getting data, how do I use that data for the benefit of the business? Okay. So digital information is basically everywhere. Okay. Every click, comment, like, review tells a business something. So what we're going to do is look at the main sources of this. So the first one is customer reviews and ratings. This is digital information. So if you've been on other sessions with me, you would remember that I usually use my dad's restaurant as to kind of give an example, right? So while I was working for my dad, family business, he wanted me to create a website. He wanted me to take care of TripAdvisor and so on. I did a simple website, and the TripAdvisor was very important for me to keep a track of, because it's a seasonal place, Skegness. People come for the season. It's very important for us to think about loyalty, so they come next season. Every summer, we want them to dine at the same place, right? And negative reviews can have a negative impact on the business. And we had competition. So sometimes those reviews weren't genuine. They were fake. They were from competitors writing as if they're customers, right? So I had the job of basically keeping an eye on the reviews. Sometimes my dad would say, there's a review that's negative. Go and check it out, what they're saying and this and that. Okay. So with TripAdvisor, sometimes you can dispute, right? So if somebody says something and it's not genuine, you can dispute, but it's up to TripAdvisor whether they take it on or keep it or remove it, and so on and so on. But what I've realized with TripAdvisor is the value and that communication with the customer is very important, because other people would check out TripAdvisor before when they're looking for a place to go and dine. So customer reviews provide honest, not always, honest, real world feedback that organizations can use to judge satisfaction, quality, and areas of improvement. So sometimes when a customer would complain about something, we would take action if we think, okay, that is a justified complaint. We understand, what they're saying. Maybe it's a member of staff being rude. We would provide training for everyone, okay? Because there was no mention of the name. Staff are rude. Okay, are we rude? I don't think so, but still, let's do some staff training on how to communicate, how to react to certain things. So as a business, you would do something to counteract that, information that you got. That data is saying that, okay, what can we do about it? If we fire somebody over a review, then we've lost a staff member, right? And then we have to find somebody else. If we provide training for everyone, then you're not picking on one individual because you don't know who it is, but you're providing staff training. That is an action the business has taken based on feedback, based on reviews, and based on data. So that digital information is valuable there. Also customer satisfaction, which products are working, which are more popular, what are they talking about, the quality, areas of improvement. All of this comes from reviews. So found on Google reviews, Trustpilot, Facebook. Trustpilot, I think it's for products. I think maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of products, physical products, digital products, Trustpilot, Google reviews, and TripAdvisor, hotels, restaurants, venues, resorts, and so on. Facebook as well. Customers do provide reviews on Facebook, on a Facebook page in the comments, and Yelp as well. I haven't used Yelp, but I'm sure that's a review site as well. Reveals customer satisfaction levels, highlights repeated issues and trends, can influence brand reputation and trust. Like I say, people will go to these sites to get opinions of other people. Okay. If you look on Amazon, if you're shopping on Amazon, It's like what would you do? I personally would check out the reviews and buy from sellers who have sold successfully. They've got a lot of positive reviews because I don't want any problems with getting a product that is not fit for purpose or have huge delays, that kind of stuff. Okay. So reviews are a place where you would kind of, check out the data, the information to see how you're doing as a business, what the customer's saying, but it also, as a customer, as a user, we've all done it as well. We've been on Amazon, we've checked out reviews. We've been on booking.com, we've checked out reviews on hotels before we book them. Resorts, restaurants. We've all done something like that where we've contributed as well, where we've added our own comments as well. And this information is valuable for a business. If you are a business and you ignore your customer reviews and ratings, it doesn't look professional. Like if a customer writes a negative review and there's no management response, it doesn't look professional. It's as if you don't care. So there's also a communication there that's important. It's not just about pulling the data and making things right or improving things. It's about communication as well. So if lots of customers mention slow delivery or poor communication, that tells the business exactly what to fix. Reviews can also guide future improvements and shape marketing messages. So how you promote, what do you promote? How do you connect with your customers? All of that comes from that data. Okay, so that data is very important, and that is one form of digital information that a business can get. Secondly, social media interactions. When someone comments, likes, shares, or saves your post, that's digital information. Okay, it's helping you to understand which content works, which ones they're actually engaging with the most. So if a post gets no engagement, it tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you that there's no interest. Okay, why would you create similar posts again? You wouldn't. You'd create something that works. So businesses use this data to adjust their content strategy and improve connection with their customers and identify platforms that work best. So you're looking at different platforms as well. So you may use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the interactions on Facebook aren't that good, but the interactions on TikTok are great. So you're focusing on TikTok more than Facebook. Or maybe your strategy on Facebook isn't great, so you have to improve it. Okay, so you would look at your competitors and seeing what they're doing in their groups, on their pages to get that engagement that you're not doing. Where are you failing? So likes, comments, shares, reviews, these are the things that give you that indication of how well a video is doing. Where's the engagement? Are you getting that engagement? Do you need to do ads? Do you need to go towards push marketing, like for that initial kind of engagement, and then provide value to grow? So follower growth, audience demographics, message responses and direct messages, and engagement with campaigns. All of these things you can do for social media interactions, and that is also digital information in the form of likes, shares, comments, and such. So comments are very important. Okay, whenever you post something for engagement, you need to check out the comments. You need to, obviously there'll be trolls, but there's lots of people who would give valuable information in there as well. Social listening. Okay, so social listening is a bit like a fly on the wall online. You can see what people are saying about your business, what they're talking about, and that again it could be with the comments, it could be with the reviews, but it's social listening. So even with the reviews, even with the comments on your videos on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, what you're doing as a business is you're doing social listening. You're basically understanding what people are saying about your brand. Okay, and also it could be about your competitors. Also, it could be about the industry itself. So it's not just about your company. It's not just about that specific post. It's about your industry. It's about your competitors. It's about what's trending right now. It's just understanding what's going on. Okay, just making sure that you understand where you are, with the market. So social listening is important. Just being clued on about the market, the industry, what's going on at the moment. And you may employ people that just are connected to other individuals in the industry that have a lot of knowledge, and that would help you. You could monitor mentions, hashtags, discussions. So when you monitor mentions and hashtags, what you're doing is you're going beyond your platform, you're going beyond your posts. Now you're going on every other post that has the same hashtag. Like if I was creating content around AI, then I would have a hashtag AI. I could have a hashtag machine learning. But if I'm social listening, I'm trying to understand what other people are posting, where the attention is on artificial intelligence. I would check out the hashtags of other posts, and I might even use those hashtags on my post. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do. You can look at hashtags that are being used by popular posts and adopt them. Okay, you can look at discussions that are taking place on popular posts and start the same discussion yourself. You could also participate in that discussion to learn more. Social listening is about being engaged with the social media, with the community online, with the broader industry, and looking at different mediums where people are engaging and communicating, but also having your connections, your networks, people within the industry that have connections that nobody else has, and getting information from them as well. So it identifies customer opinions, trends before they even start. It helps manage reputation and also supports competitor analysis. Because if you're listening, if you're paying attention, then you will know what your competitors are planning. If they got a campaign themselves, you might get an inkling of that campaign and realize, okay, they're going to run a campaign for a new product. Then, in 6 months' time, they might be focused on something else. Then what's my strategy of, with my products? Like, what do I do with mine? Should I start a campaign as well? So you may not start a campaign straight away. You might see how theirs went and then use that to learn lessons to create your campaign. So as long as you're connected to your industry and your competitors and what's happening in the market, you'll be able to create an analysis and make decisions. It's all about decision making at the end of the day. Then we come on to web analytics. Okay, so web analytics, you can find them in Wix, you can find them on Google Analytics. Like, you've got various analytics platforms. Like, for example, TikTok has its own. Okay, your Shopify will have its own in the background on your dashboard. There's website analytics available for you, but whether you take advantage of it or not, that's up to you. Okay, now it is, again, digital information, and it's displayed for you so that you take advantage of it. So things like page views, traffic, bounce rate, these are important to understand what they mean, but also to take action on them as well. Like, what is it telling me? To understand that, convert it into information that you can then use to improve. So if you've created a website, say on Wix, and people are clicking on the first, they're basically going to the site, and then what they're doing is they're skipping your product area and they're going to another page. Okay, then that information will be in the analytics. It will say page views, how many views it's got. One page may have a lot of views and another one may have bounce rate will be very high. Or it could be that, they're spending a lot of time on a specific page. What does that tell you? Well, if they're spending a lot of time on a specific page, maybe that is the page where you want to place a product or a special offer, right? What you don't want to do is take that away from them, because already they're spending a lot of time on that page. You've got their attention on that page. There must be something that you're doing well on that page. Okay. Maybe it's where it is on the menu. Maybe it's something on that page. So that is something that you need to then take action on, looking at the page views and looking at how long they're spending on that. So the user behavior and pathway is like how they're basically navigating through your website. Is there any bottlenecks? Are they going to a certain page and then dropping off? Are they moving over to a different page? It could be that on your page there's a link and that takes them out the website, and that's why they're dropping off from your website and going elsewhere. Then you need to change that. All of that is digital information that's coming to you that then you can basically make use of. So if customers leave quickly, sometimes something may be wrong with the page. It could be that it's not loading, right? All of this is valuable information. If lots of people view a service or a page, it might be a high demand area, and that's where you would place your product. So one of the P's, placing, okay? Place, that's where you place it, okay? This data supports decision on design, content, and marketing direction. So you'll get time spent on the site, conversion rate, sales, signups, clicks, and so on. And these decisions you would make based on customer behavior on your website, okay? And that's website analytics for you. Competitor and comparison websites. So we've all heard of things like comparethemarket.com, right? These are price comparison websites. A lot of people, when they go shopping online, they would basically, if it's a product or a service, they would compare prices of different companies, okay? So if you're buying a laptop, you would compare the price of a laptop at one, so it could be PC World, and there could be a private company selling laptops, and you compare the prices because you don't want to be paying too much. Then if you're getting insurance, you might compare the market.com, you might go there, look at insurance. So competitor pricing is important to understand. So if you as a marketer, you have a product, you need to understand what your competitors pricing their products as. And that is also digital information that is valuable. So comparison and competitor websites provide insights into market pricing, customer preferences, and competitive positioning. So you've got competitor product reviews as well. So before we talked about looking at TripAdvisor for your own product, but also look at what your your competitors are doing and what they're getting for their reviews. Because their product review, if it's the same product, okay, and their reviews are slightly different, why is it different? What is it that they're doing? It could be special offers, it could be one of the 4 Ps, right? It could be the pricing, it could be the product placement, it could be something else, right? So you need to understand what the competitors are doing. It's very important. Again, customer comments on competitor pages and industry ranking sites as well, to understand which companies in your industry are doing really well, and then looking at why they're doing really well. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't think that, okay, that's cheating. No. One, if you've got competitors, it validates the market. Okay, there's others that are making money in the same market. Number 2, it gives you a good place to go and do your research. Okay, there's nothing. It's most likely that they're also looking at your site anyway. They're also looking at your product. They're reading your reviews. They're also improving their service by looking at your products. So if a competitor has better reviews or cheaper prices, a company can make strategic changes. This information helps a business to stay competitive and relevant. Next is email analytics, another place where we get digital information. Okay, so we look at competitors and get digital information. We can look at analytics and get digital information. We look at reviews, but also email analytics. Now, email's been around for a very long time. It used to be used by military long time ago, in the 60s, I think. But then in the 80s, 90s, it was very boring, just text on a white background. Then now we've got like videos within emails. We've got all sorts of like media that is integrated within emails, but it's still one of the most solid forms of communication, because we can almost say like everybody's got an email address, right? Whether you give it to somebody or not, that's up to you. But most people got an email address, and keeping emails, like a list of emails, is a good thing, because you can communicate with those people. However, you still got to think about your target audience, and the younger generation may not use email as much as they would use something else, like another form of medium, right? For communication. So real-time communication is important, but if you think about email, um, if you're doing real-time communication and you're an international business, then you got to think about the timings, right? So when you're marketing, other people may be asleep. So real time doesn't work sometimes. So emailing, when they open the email, they get that in their right time, like 9 in the morning or whenever they check their email, that works. Okay. So for some things, email is great. So when you look at email marketing tools, like for example, Aweber, these platforms, Aweber, MailChimp, they allow you to not only collect the emails, but also give you analytics. So on the dashboard on Aweber, for example, you can see open rates, click-through rates, unsubscribe rates, and customer actions after opening the email. So open rates, how many people are opening? So you sent it to 100 people. Out of 100 people, how many have actually opened the email? Okay, they will give you that. Click-through rates, how many people have actually clicked on within the email, any clicks that there were, any links that were, how many people have actually clicked, right? Unsubscribed, some people are gonna basically unsubscribe. They've got their free item, they're gonna just now take themselves off the list, right? How many people have done that? And then customer actions after opening the email. What are they actually doing after opening the email? Some platforms even give you that information, right? So email analytics shows what customers do when they receive a campaign email. Do they open it? Do they click? Do they unsubscribe? This information helps the business to improve future emails, test new subject lines, and learn what customers find useful. Okay? Simple as that. Next one is online sales and e-commerce data. So every purchase creates data when bought, when, who, and how often. Okay, so who is your customer? When did they buy? And how often are they buying? All of that information will be on your Shopify site, on your TikTok e-commerce part, your TikTok shop. You'll get the best-selling products, the abandoned basket data. So somebody's put it in their basket, but they abandoned it. They didn't purchase it in the end. Customer purchasing pattern. When are they buying it? What are they buying it? And how much are they spending? Things like that. Average order value. All of that information comes from your sales. Okay, on an e-commerce site. So whenever you have a shop, like it could be that you've built it through Wix. It could be that you're using Shopify. It could be that you've done it through WordPress. If you're selling products on an online digital platform, even if you're doing it on TikTok, you need the sales data, and that data will come through. If you're doing it on WordPress, it might be WooCommerce, okay, on WordPress. So that's a plugin. Some templates come with that. A lot of you are now on Wix, so Wix would have its own analytics for products. And then if you're using Shopify, that has its own. But the digital information that is valuable for you as a shop owner is basically which product is selling well, right? Now, if you don't do anything from this data, then you're not taking advantage, you're losing out. If you have certain products that are selling well, what would you do? You would put those products on the front page. You would basically promote those products, all right? You'd have a little label saying best-selling product, okay? If people are abandoning their basket at some point, right? They're adding to their basket, but they're not actually making this, purchase, right? Why is that? Why are they doing that? Is there an issue with my PayPal or my Stripe system that's making it too complicated for them? Do I have to simplify the process so that when they add it to their basket, it's easy for them to actually add their credit card details or make that payment? Is there some kind of bottleneck, right? So unless you take that information and do something with it, then that's issues are still going to be there. So it's important to check. If there is no issue, then there's no issue. But if there is, we need to fix it. Customer purchasing patterns, like customer behavior is going to be very relevant for you as a shop, because if you had a physical shop, then you do it naturally, right? Customer behavior, when people come into the store, if they're not sitting down, or if they're not spending time in the store, they're not looking around, there's something wrong. Maybe the atmosphere isn't great. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe it's too cold. Maybe I have to get a heater. Maybe people don't feel comfortable. Do I add music, to the background, people need to feel comfortable and spend time. I'll give you an example. Who's gone into Lidl's lately? Let's see some hands. Okay. Anybody visited Lidl's or Aldi recently, this week, last week? Nobody wants to admit they shop in Lidl's or Aldi. All right then. Let's see. I've been, okay, I admit. Okay, so when you go to Lidl or Aldi, there's a basket usually, right? That you can pull along, right? But sometimes you have the basket that you can't pull, right? You have to carry, okay? So as a marketer, as a business, which one is ideal? Tell me. Which one is better?
The one
The
you
one that you have to
pull.
carry or the one that you pull?
The pull.
Pull. Who said that?
Me.
Who's
Nicola.
me? Who's
Nicola.
me?
And
Oh,
the
Nicola.
trolley is
Okay.
even better.
A trolley is even better, but then you have to have a pound coin, and nowadays you can't find change, right?
But you can have, the fake coin. That's work too.
Yeah, you can find the fake one, yeah. So I had one on my keyring, the fake one, and yesterday my wife wanted to go home bargains, right? So I thought, oh, I'm smart. I've got those fake ones on the keyring. Then I put it in, and it's still on my keyring. Then you can't use it. It's on your keyring. You have to take it out of your keyring, right? So I don't know why they put the little hole to put it on your keyring in the first place.
That's
But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is, as a marketer, as a businessman, you've got to understand to make it convenient for people, right? So the trolleys that first thing I would have got rid of, like the pound coins that you have to
Some
put
of the
in.
store is for free, actually. Not all the
Yeah,
stuff.
some of them are free. I think Tesco. No, I've seen Tesco. You have to put the pound coin in. Asda's free. Asda
Depends
doesn't.
on the area, to be honest.
Depends on the area.
Yeah.
Like if there's
If they lose.
I've seen some trolleys, in odd places. So there's some people who actually take the trolley and take it all the way to their home and leave it outside their house and use it like a shopping basket. But yeah, that's the reason, because people nick the trolleys. But it's convenience, isn't it? It's like you've got to think, okay, yeah, we might lose a trolley, but you've got to think about the majority of people. Got to make it convenient for them. But what I'm getting at is I looked at these baskets that you have to carry, and then I've looked at the ones that you can just like, take. Obviously, the person who has to carry it is it's gonna get heavy after you put a pint of milk in there and a few other things. It's gonna get heavy, and you're not gonna shop anymore. But if you've got one that you can carry, like just literally pull along, and it's a bit, has more space in it, then you're gonna spend more time. But also, let me think, was it Aldi or Lidl? I think it's Lidl, right? I watched the documentary. Has anybody seen the documentary on Lidl on Netflix? Was it Lidl or was it Aldi? I can't remember. I think it's Aldi actually, because that's German, isn't it? German company. Aldi. Yeah, I watched the documentary. I started the documentary thinking, why am I watching this? I don't know, but I'll watch it. And it was really interesting because one thing that I picked up is when you go into Aldi, they have usually you would go into Aldi for say you're going for bread or milk or something like that, the essentials, right? To get to the essentials, literally you have to go all the way around past the discount area, which is in the middle where they got all these like special offers and stuff. And then your milk is far end, right? In the corner, your bread and the milk. Why? Product placement is one of the P's, isn't it? They put it there so that you actually travel across and pass all the luxury items and the offers and everything else that you don't need, right? But you're going to buy on the way to your milk. So you went in there to get milk, but you end up buying lots of other things, right? Like a remote control holder and, I don't know, all these other nonsense that you end up buying. But it's marketing. It's still marketing. So this is important to understand, and it's about customer behavior. And I'm sure, like I haven't seen it on the documentary, but I'm sure that if a company's got CCTV footage of customers walking around the store, if that was me, I would even use the video footage to see customer behavior. okay, to understand how people are moving around the store and where to place products. That's a physical store, right? So we can learn from that and think about an online digital store, and it's the same thing. You have to make it convenient for people at the checkout, right? So one thing I've noticed with Aldi and Lidl and all that is they never have anybody at the till, right? And it's like it's this pay yourself self-service, but it's so complicated and it's not there's always a queue. So it's not ideal in that way. Is there's a bottleneck there. Ideally, you want people to just keep on going and flowing through quickly, purchase and go. But again, it's slightly different because it's essentials. People need this stuff, right? But when you're selling stuff online, people have a choice with a lot of products. It's not essentials, it's not necessity, it's luxury sometimes. Okay. So you've got to think about these bottlenecks, and sometimes it's easy to kind of understand it when you look at the real world and see how businesses do that in the real world. So how do you prevent bottlenecks? You get more staff at the till, right? Well, on an online shop, you can't have staff at the basket area. But what you can have is an AI bot. You can have a little chat function. If anybody's having any issues purchasing or making that payment, there should be some kind of support. So even that is something that you can learn from a real business, that I should have a chat support, a help function, or a link for help in the basket section, where when somebody's added some products and they're not purchasing, if they're dropping off at that point, maybe they need some support here. Okay, so there's things that you can learn from that. Let me just go back to the presentation. So e-commerce, very important, very valid, a great way to make money, but you got to understand how they work in the real world. Convenience is a very important thing to understand. And again, customer data, information you're going to get through making these sales and in the analytics page is very important. So how information is used to make decisions? Well, businesses analyze the digital information to guide marketing, improve services, plan strategy, and make informed decisions, just like Aldi would have made that decision to get that type of basket, to place those products at the far end, all the essentials. They're making a decision. They're getting fresh products on a daily basis. They're basically making sure that the quality is there at a good price, and they're doing that by getting local produce, right? So improve customer experience, identify trends and opportunities, develop targeted marketing campaigns, improve products or services, and make financial and operational decisions. Okay. So it could be just you that's making those decisions. It could be somebody in your company that's making those decisions. But without the data, you cannot prove. You cannot push an idea. You cannot make those changes without backup, right? So that's why data is important. All this information means businesses don't have to guess what customers want. The data tells them. Okay. So if reviews are showing reoccurring issues, then fix it. Social media shows a trend, then follow it. If a website analytics is showing high interest in a certain type of a service, then invest more into it. Okay. You have to follow. It's not, like I said before in another session, it's not about what you want. Sometimes we get carried away. Oh, my website looks so nice like this, No, it's not about how you think it looks. Look at the data and see what your customers are thinking. Okay. It's all about the customer. It's not about what you want. It's about what the customer wants. And sometimes you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes to understand that. Data and decisions. Okay, so we're going a bit deeper into it. Okay, so if you look into what I've got, this list here. So we've got the digital information sources. So we've got customer reviews. We've got website analytics, social media engagement, comparison websites, online sales report, and then email marketing data. And then we've got the business decisions as well. So read the list of digital information sources and then read the business decisions. And what I want you to do is match them. Okay. So match each source with the decision that it could help with. And then I'll ask a few of you like to explain. Okay. Or you could actually explain in a sentence. So I want you to do that for 5 minutes. Okay. So you're matching the source of information with the business decision. Right. So 5 minutes to do this. And using the chat to put your answer. So you can go like A1, B2, something like that. Another thing about, I think is, I get confused with Lidl and Aldi, but the way they put their price tags as well. So that's another P, isn't it? It's another P from our 4 Ps, the price. In a normal shop, like normally, because that's how it's always been, the price is below the product. Okay. So your eyes will go below the product and see the price. In Aldi or Lidl, they put it above the product. So it's quite confusing. So sometimes if it's a cheaper product, and below it, and you're looking at that price, you might buy it thinking it's cheap, but actually it's expensive. So the placing the price in a different location, there must be some reason for that. But they do that in those stores as well. Okay, so we've got some answers coming. Yeah, yeah, Maria. I don't know what the logic behind it is. I thought it was like putting the price like at eye level, but then again, it's like all the products are at different heights. Probably just to confuse people. Okay, so we've got some answers coming through. Brilliant. I will ask Debbie first. Okay, so Debbie, can you explain your answers? Like why you chose what you did?
Yeah, they just seem the best fit. So I'm gonna try and put. Sorry, I'm on my phone today, so it's a bit of a.
Okay, just do one then. Go for the first
Yeah,
one.
I've got it. I've managed to get it all together now. So
Okay.
so yeah, the customer reviews. As we talked about, deciding which products and services need improving through the feedback from people. The website analytics. So looking at those bounce rates and what people are doing once they've hit a certain page, where they're going next, if anything's making them leave.
Yeah.
So social media engagement, so choosing what type of content to post next. So looking at what's worked well and what hasn't.
Yep.
And now I've lost the screen, so I don't know what.
No, sorry. I just be clicking everywhere. Just bear with me a second. Let me bring it back for you. There we are.
There we go. So yeah, so looking at what content works, what's not, what you could do more of, potentially less of.
Yeah.
Comparing on comparison websites, see what other people are offering as kind of base prices, but also as offers. Sign up, join, switch offers. Online sales reports to see kind of what's flying off the shelves and may need adding to, or kind of additional product lines, etc. And maybe what's lagging a bit that needs a bit of a boost behind it.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And I think everybody's got the same answers. I'm just looking at all the answers and I think everybody's got the same. Okay. So if you're still working on it, I'll give you the results that I've got and why I've put them down. So customer reviews, the first one is basically 1. Reviews highlight problems and they praise specific services. Okay. The second one is 6, which is basically a website analytics, and it shows where users drop off, get stuck, or leave quickly. Okay, so that is where we can actually use it. C, social media engagement, that's 2. Okay, so choosing which type of content to post next, and that engagement tells us, tells you what content performs well. D, which is comparison websites, and that is 3, which is adjusting pricing to stay competitive because you're looking at the competition. It shows what competitive prices and offers are. E is online sales reports, and that is connected to 4, which is identifying which products to restock and promote. Okay, so it shows the best sellers and the low performing products. And then F, email marketing, is 5, which is knowing whether a marketing email was effective or not. And I think everybody's kind of got it right. So that's good. So you understand the sources of information, the data, the digital data, where it's coming from, okay? And you'll also understand which business decisions are made using that data. Brilliant, okay? So let's carry on then. So categories of digital media. So there's 3 different categories. There's paid media, there's owned media, and there's earned media. Paid media is obviously like social media ads, Google ads, banners, things that we pay for. Okay, whenever we pay, it works fast. It's basically push marketing. You're basically paying and you want it fast. You want the attention today, and you're going to get it today. Yes, it's going to cost you some money. It is powerful, but it's not sustainable on its own. Benefits and limitations of paid media: it's instant, it's highly targeted, scalable, fast results. The limitations: it's expensive. Results basically stop when you stop paying. Customers may ignore the ads, they may block it. It's not always trusted. It's a bit kind of cheeky, that kind of thing. Owned media. Okay, so owned media is when you own the media. Like if you own the blog, you own the website, newsletters, social media pages. This is all in your control. Yes, these platforms own the platform and the content, but still you have some ownership over it, right? It's not fully decentralized, but it's yours, right? So owned media refers to digital spaces that a business fully controls. This includes content they create and the platforms that belong to them. Okay, so your social platform that you're using, your accounts basically. And then there's benefits and limitations of owned media as well. Basically, the benefit is full control over the content design and branding, cost effective once created, builds long-term customer relationships. People can basically find your website, your content, they know where to go, kind of support SEO and organic growth, and no third-party restrictions, although you're at the mercy of the platform. So if they suspend your account, then that's it. So you have to follow the rules. Limitations: requires time and consistent effort. Growing an audience organically is slower, not as immediate as paid media, and still dependent on algorithms, even though content is owned. Okay. Now, there is another one, which is earned media, okay, which we might not think about that much. So earned media is the coverage or publicity gained through customers, followers, or public. It is not paid for. It is earned by based on positive experiences or strong content. Okay, so customer reviews, when they're writing the reviews, that's user generated content. That is earned media. You've earned that review. Word of mouth is earned media. Okay, even though it doesn't seem like media, but it could be that a person has done an interview on a video. It could be a podcast, so it's still word of mouth. Social media shares, that's earned media. Every time somebody shares something, that you've earned that. This is action that your customers are taking and you're benefiting from. Mentions in blogs or news articles, user generated content. It could be that you got doing a competition or getting people to create something for you, or it could be that people are writing articles about your company, right? It could be about your industry and you've contributed to it. So there's some kind of connection there. Also influencers talking about you and with about your company, okay, and that's you're not paying them, but they're just mentioning you because you're relevant. Okay, so this is all earned media, and this is free and it's very valuable. Okay, so there's paid media, there's paid media, owned media, and earned media, 3 of them. And they all have benefits and limitations. So there's a comparison task, okay? Paid media, owned media, and earned media. I will give you like a document that basically has this table in it, and you can fill that in, okay? But I'll do that in a second. I'm just going to cover a few other things. So what are digital marketing channels? Obviously, we know there's social media channels, okay? There's different platforms that you can access your, people can access your services. There's websites. You do SEO, search engine optimization, okay? But also social media is a way to get attention, but email as well. I would say out of all the digital marketing channels, the most important place is where your product is sitting. Okay. If it's a website or some other platform, it doesn't matter. It's where you're trying to drive the attention to. Okay. But then you've got to think about the channels. How are they coming to us? Are they coming through my website? Are they coming through social media? Are they coming through emails? Are they coming through SEO? Are they coming through some other method? Okay. So think about that as well. What are the different channels, right? So if you think about the website, obviously that is your home. That is where you're putting all the information about your business. That is like your presence on the internet. Okay. So your website needs to be branded, have the logo, be very easy to navigate. It can have landing pages on there, it can have blogs on there. It can obviously, you can optimize it for search engines. You can do all of that. Okay, so your website is your home. It's your shop front, your digital shop front. So that is one channel where people can go directly to your website and find your product. Okay, so if your website is slow, unclear, it's going to affect your business. The second one, SEO, search engine optimization, it's like planting a seed in the garden. It's going to take some time to grow, but over time, as the web, the internet, basically the way it works, the keywords, and as long as you're providing value, it's not, SEO is not like it used to be. As long as you're providing value, you're connecting different content, you're linking to other websites, you're providing value, right? Your website will be optimized. Okay, there's certain things that you've got to do. We covered in Wix, and we'll do it again. But it's about keywords, content quality, site structure, the navigation of it, driving organic traffic there without paying for ads, building long-term visibility, making it mobile compatible, all of this, just making it easy for people to navigate and find your site. Search engine marketing, okay, this is where you're using paid adverts or on search engines like Google. So Google has, like, in their list of results that you could have, you could pay to be at the top, for example. So Google Ads, for example, it provides you immediate visibility. It's highly targeted based on search intent. So looking at keywords, what people are typing, it works well alongside SEO. So think of SEM as a shortcut to the top of Google. It's perfect if you need instant access or instant traffic, sorry, or if your business is brand new. But remember, the moment you stop paying, you're invisible. It goes, okay? So it's short-term fix, getting yourself ranked, at the top of the search engine, but it's costly, and which is why it's short-term. For a new business, it may not work. Social media, we obviously know, is amazing what you can do with social media. It's where your brand can show its personality. You can talk to your customers, you can answer questions, you can entertain, educate, and grab that attention. And then, you can even sell directly from social media with like TikTok Shop and everything. Email marketing, kind of old, but still relevant. Email marketing involves sending targeted messages directly to your customer, where they opt in to receive more information. You can give newsletters, promotions, updates. You can even sell something via email, but you've got to think about your target audience and where they're sitting. So some of the things that you've got to consider when it comes to choosing the right channel is where are your audience? So who's using these platforms? What is their demographics? If it's younger people, it could be TikTok, Instagram. Professionals, it could be LinkedIn. Older demographics, it could be Facebook, email, websites, direct on your website. Accessibility as well. You've got to be mobile friendly, clear navigation, readable content, inclusive formats, for example, video, text, audio. People read information in different ways. So these are all factors you've got to think about, mainly reaching your target audience and also accessibility. There's also speed of communication. So you don't want to spend too much time trying to communicate your idea or get information. You've got to think about the attention span. So how quickly the organization can deliver the message to the customer and how fast the customer can respond and take action. Okay, social media and email offer immediate communication. SEM, which is basically taking it to the top of the search, it provides instant visibility. SEO is slow and long term, and websites rely on customers to visit. So we're looking at all of this speed of communication, social media, live videos. That's the way to go. When you're looking at communication with the customer, social media supports real-time interaction. Again, during comments, you can interact directly. Email supports personalized one-to-one communication on a professional level. Could be support, could be help, could be after sale. So websites mostly provide one-way information. So that is your shop front, but if you don't want it one way, you might add a chat bot or something to it. SEM and SEO focuses on attracting traffic, not conversion. Okay. So it's about traffic generation. So communication with your customer is important, but also speed of communication. Just think of it as traditional businesses. If it's slow delivery, you're hanging on the phone and listening to music and can't get through to somebody, it's all going to be negative towards your business. So speed of communication is still important, but it's online. And for online, it's real time. Communication with your customer, you need to be there where the customer is, where they're having the issue. That's where you need to be. And cost to the organization as well. Like you have to think about how much it's going to cost you and is it worth it? The financial cost of using the channel, both short term and long term. Social media is free, organic is free, but if you're starting to pay for things like tools, like Aweber for email, websites need hosting, for example, SSL certificates, domain addresses, you've got to think about all this stuff. But you've got to weigh out whether it's profitable. Is it worth it? Most likely some of the things like websites, it is worth it. Competitors, activities, which we've talked about, that is also something that you need to think about when choosing your channel. So all of these things are important when you're choosing the channel by which you're getting the digital information, which you can use to improve your business. Competitor activities, cost to the organization, speed of communication, and also communication with your audience. How are you going to communicate? So in a nutshell, I can tell you social media is the way to go. Having a website as your base is the way to go. And also having an online platform where you can sell. So that could be your website where you got e-commerce integrated. It could be a separate Shopify site. It could be Stan Store, somewhere where people can purchase the product. But communication is very important. Data collection is very important. Using that data to improve your business is important as well. So the units that this session relates to is Unit 2, question 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to download and send this slide deck to you. So if you just bear with me a second while I do that. And I'm also going to give you that sheet that you can actually use to do the differences between the different types of marketing. Let's try, just bear with me a second. Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to download it from Canva. Do that first. Okay, percent share, download. Okay, so that's just downloading now. Okay, so you might have to wait a few seconds because it's quite a large file. And then I'll post that into the chat. Meanwhile, I'll post that other document in as well. Okay. So we got digital media comparison, this one. So this is going to help with your questions. So if you fill that in first and then try answering the questions. So that's one. And now I'm going to give you the slide deck. So here comes the slide deck.